Yeah, this is a common thing, especially for people that are more spiritually aware, that they feel like in times of calamity they're closer to Allah. In times of ease, they can become distant from Allah. Um, it is true for people that are more spiritually aware. They will know that, in fact, human beings in general are more distant from Allah in easier times. That's why even Allah says when the boat starts rocking and you're about to sink, you call on Allah sincerely, right? Otherwise, you become heedless. But the thing about our relationship and our connection to Allah being constant, firstly, that's not what's asked of us. We're not asked to have a constant connection to Allah at the same level of intensity. We are to maintain a relationship with Allah. And that's why in these ayat, you found a really intimate closeness to Allah in ayah 11, but a maintenance of a relationship with Allah in ayah 12, right? And then the principle that no matter what happens, just keep relying on Allah as the constants, right? That's the way that life is. And so yes, there will be some times where you feel less connected or less spiritually moved, but you're still loyal to Allah, you're still His servant, you're still grateful. And then there are other times where you're just really find yourself helpless and begging before Allah, and there's a real closeness between you and Allah, right? But I think the other answer to that question is, I don't think after the final revelation has come that there's ever going to be a more powerful constant that connects us to Allah than Allah's own rope. And it's not just listening to lectures about the Quran, that's one part of it. Memorizing the Quran, reciting the Quran, right? Thinking about the Quran on your own without listening to anything, pondering the Quran. These are all components of, and speaking about the Quran with family, with friends, it just rolls off your tongue. It becomes a part of you, right? The more you have that in you, the more light is in you, and the more you're connected to the light of the skies and the earth. This is not just a rhetorical thing to say. This is the fact of it. This is the fact of it. The spiritual crisis of the ummah is actually a crisis of Quran. To me, at the core of it is actually this. Because, and if this was restored at every facet, like, look, me giving these lectures, you would think this is enough for me to have a connection with the Quran. It's not. Me sitting and reciting the Quran, what it does for me, I know what it does for me. And what it does for me is completely different than studying. And studying by itself doesn't do for me what teaching does for me, because I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself. So it has a completely different impact on me, right? And then listening to somebody else recite the Quran has another completely different impact on me. And then hearing somebody else give a reminder of the Quran has another completely different impact. And all of those are part of my relationship with the Quran, that and more, right? So that needs to become, we need to become what the Prophet ﷺ described us as, Ya Ahl al-Quran, people of Quran. And that will have an impact on everything else that we do.